Morena koutou.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, and thank you for coming on the show this morning, Honourable Minister. Let's start with the Adoption Amendment Bill. Dr. Reti, the recent Adoption Amendment Bill has suspended recognition of international adoptions under Section 17 of the Adoption Act. With Samoa being one of the most affected countries, many in our Samoan community here in New Zealand are deeply concerned, especially families with ties to children adopted from Samoa. Can you explain, please, Mr., how this bill will impact our people and what steps the government is taking to ensure safeguards without severing our cultural and familial connections?
Sure. So this is really simple. The key objective here is to protect children. And I don't think anyone could argue with that needs to be our first, second and third priority. As a consequence of that, it's been determined by the responsible minister that we need to have some temporary legislation in place while we think our way through some of our international adoption policies. And so that's what this bill is about. As you see, it's received support across the House, because fundamentally everyone understands and appreciates the importance of putting children first and attending to their safety first.
Right.
So it's a temporary measure while more formal safeguards and safety rails are put in place, and we should all be pleased with measures that improve the safety of children.
Okay, Honourable Minister, why was Samoa not included in the list of exempted countries, and what needs to happen for that to change?
That's something in discussion between New Zealand officials and international officials all across the world, where the international adoption policy is in place. So those are parts of the discussions between countries as to what might need to change, what criteria might be applicable.
Yeah. Dr. Shane Reti, is there a timeline or plan for restoring adoption pathways between Samoa and New Zealand?
Look, I think that was explored during the first reading in the House, in as much as that what's been expressed is that this is temporary legislation pending more formal arrangements and more formal legislation.
Right.
That's what the House agreed to. So no particular time frame other than what was described through those first readings.
Okay, so how is the government working with Samoan authorities to address the concerns?
There are discussions with all of the affected and relevant countries as to any particular concerns that may be there and what the pathway both through this legislation and through what future legislation might hold.
Okay, Honourable Minister, you recently extended the Pacific Healthy Homes Initiative. Can you share what impact this program has had so far and what the next phase will look like?
Yes, I'll be able to be more specific once the formal report from Otago University on the impact of the Pacific Healthy Homes Initiative is to hand. But certainly initial indications are exactly what we were hoping for, that having warmer homes improves the health and improves the quality of life for everyone who's able to live in a warmer home.
Right.
And so we'll quantify that more formally when that commissioned report is through, and I don't think it will be too far away. And then we'll look at how else we can improve the program. But what we know generally is that the Healthy Home Initiative across all of New Zealand has benefits in reducing turn-up rates to emergency departments, decreases sickness from school, decreases time off work, and these are all of the benefits that we're looking to see in the Pacific Healthy Homes Initiative project.
Okay, and how are families being selected for support under this initiative, and are there plans to expand eligibility criteria to reach more households?
So the Ministry for Pacific People commissions Pacific organisations to provide people and support people into the program, and so there's a range of criteria, which includes presentation, what's called ASH, ambulatory sensitive hospitalizations, those conditions that could have been treated in the community that turn up at hospital. So ASH rates. There's also eligibility criteria around people with chronic conditions. So there's a number of criteria to be eligible for the Pacific Healthy Homes Initiative. What is new in this variation in what we're doing, which isn't part of the ordinary Healthy Homes initiative, is that we've also increased the criteria for older people. Generally, it's a criteria functioning on younger people, those who have rheumatic fever. It can also be those who are pregnant. Those under 5 who have turned up at a hospital with an ASH condition, an ambulatory sensitive hospitalisation. What we did with the Pacific Healthy Homes initiative was also increase it to older people. And so that's something that everyone's very interested in with this cutting edge addition to the criteria to see what impact we can have.
Okay, Honourable Minister, in Budget 2025, what were the key allocations for the Ministry for Pacific Peoples and how do they reflect your priorities for Pacific communities?
So the objectives that we have with the Pacific Peoples portfolio and the outcomes that we measure are across infrastructure, primarily housing, and are very pleased with the housing progress that we're making, which includes the building affordable home projects. I was in South Auckland a few weeks ago with the Penina Trust, opening some more homes there. And a few weeks before that, I was in Porirua with the Awhare project, which is 300 homes, of which 18 are anticipated to be delivered before Christmas. And of course, around that, we wrapped the Financial Capability Program, which has benefited, or we have at least maybe 260 people with home ownership plans and have been able to stop some people going into mortgagee sales. So from an infrastructure perspective, how we can build homes for Pacific people is important. We've mentioned health, the Healthy Homes initiative, in education, the Taeao scholarships, how we support Pacifica students into STEM subjects at high school and a few at university as well. And in the law and order space, of course, we have funded the Pacifica Wardens, that $1 million towards them as well. So across all of Budget 25, all of those objectives are strong.
Honourable Minister, how is the Ministry ensuring that Pacific youth benefit from government investments in education, innovation and employment?
So there's a number of ways, but if we look at some of the younger benefits, that would be through education. As I've mentioned, the Taeao scholarships are primarily geared towards secondary students, and very pleased with the average 300 scholarships that we offer up each year. And of course, support for other programs like the Amanaki Trust out of Palmerston North, who provide wraparound STEM support for high school students and their progression from STEM from high school through to university.
Dr. Shane Reti, how are Pacific voices being included in shaping government policy beyond the Ministry for Pacific Peoples across health, education and housing?
So I would suggest that most ministries, when they consider key stakeholders, particularly how their policies might apply, they're aware of those who can have some of the greatest need. And across a range of social metrics, if you like, we know that Māori, we know that Pacifica, we know that those who are on low incomes, they can be the most vulnerable and therefore potentially the most who can benefit from those policies. So these are the stakeholders that most ministries would look to go to, and that could be through NGOs, for example, like Cause Collective, and through whānau ora commissioning agencies. It can be through institutes of faith, wherever we see stakeholders who can represent communities like Pacific communities. That's where agencies, and especially and including the Ministry for Pacific Peoples, will go to get that on-the-ground information.
Excellent, Honourable Minister. My last question is, how is the Ministry supporting Pacific diaspora communities in maintaining language and cultural heritage across generations?
So we're very strong. One of the key components to what we do is the Pacifica Language series, which includes Pacific Language Weeks, of which I believe Tuvalu is this week. So a shout out to Tuvaluans, not the least of which in my own electorate here in Whangarei has one of the biggest Tuvalu communities, actually. And then, of course, we have the Centre for Pacific Languages. We have a range of endeavours where we look to work alongside Pacifica people to help maintain, support their languages, because we know that if people have more confidence and comfort in their language, that they develop confidence, they're more experienced in the workplace and in other parts of their life. So it's a really important part of the work that the Ministry for Pacific Peoples does.
Honourable Minister Dr. Shane Reti, Whawhetai Te Lawa, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, sir.
My pleasure. Kia pai tora.
Whawhetai Lawa.